Starting now, we are on air. So, good evening.
Hey up, everyone.
And we are at home with the Fishers, starring Chris and Nicola. And today we have Dave G Designs, and this is episode 15.
Ooh,
so before we get started, hello to everybody who's in the chat.
I'll put this down.
Yeah, you can put that down now. It's great to have you all with us. Now, we're wearing special T-shirts. So, I'll just, there you go. You show yours. Yours is easy to show than mine. Don't fall over.
Just broke that chair.
He's just broken the chair. There you go.
You see it?
Yeah. The chair's broken.
Is there a woodworker in the house?
Yeah, he'll be working on it tomorrow. Anyway, what we wanted to say, Mr. Twidell.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Yeah, happy birthday. Woo!
Happy birthday, mate.
Yeah.
So we've got our Forking Bananas T-shirts on.
Yeah, on in your honour.
Yes.
So yeah, you can see I got mine on as well.
Yes, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
So we hope you've had a really good day. And I'm sure everybody wishes you a happy birthday too. But at least Chris has got the right day for once.
Every day is the right day.
So, so there you go. So we're going to start as we always do. Well, we don't always start with a broken chair, but we've got a broken chair.
I know it's all right. I know what's gone wrong.
Is it what do you call them?
It's not a big job.
It's not a big job. That's all right then.
No.
So today on the podcast we have Dave G Designs.
Good evening, David.
Good evening, Chris and Nicola, and everyone in the chat.
So you're all the way in Croydon, aren't you?
Yeah, in sunny Croydon, South London.
Yeah.
With 2 A's and 1 R. South.
Dancer.
Chris braved it a few weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah, we're down there, and as soon as we'd sort of like got past Heathrow, I wound the window down in the car, and I was shouting out. I love embarrassing Nicola, so sophisticated public school Nicola. So, but I'm shouting, "Do what? Knock it on the head! Apples and pears, jelly deals, dance south out the window. Just let them know that there's a mank in town." So, we had a great time.
Yeah, we did, and I think we'll be coming back next year. So
we can go. We can go down and hang
so
out.
yeah, you'll be stuck with us next year again, Dave.
Fantastic. You're more than welcome anytime if you want to brave it down in old Londinium.
Yeah.
Down in the smoke.
Yeah, it's a great club, everybody, and we had a great day, and they made us feel exceptionally welcome. And they looked after us, and then some.
Yeah,
they were so nice. We had a great demo, lots of banter, and it's nice to go to a wood turning club where after you've been there for 5 minutes, you feel like you're with old friends. And that made for a good demo because everyone's relaxed, which we were discussing. Before we went live, how to demonstrate, in my opinion, to get the best out of yourself and your audience. So yeah, great if you get the chance or you get offered the chance or asked to go and demo at East Surrey wood turning club. Do it.
Yeah,
it's a good place.
So how long have you been a member there?
I think I joined about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't long after I started turning, because I've only been turning for a little bit over that. So I kind of got into it and started looking on the internet for wood turning clubs. That one came up. I thought East Surrey, because East Surrey is sort of like a bit further on from me, but I realised they actually meet about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes up the road from my house. I'm literally walking distance.
Right. So
I thought, that's a result. So I went up there, and here we are today. I'm actually on the committee now.
Wow.
Who knew? Who knew? You'll put me in charge of things.
That's a stellar rise.
So, how did you? Well, I'm going to ask you a few additional questions. How did you get into wood turning then?
Okay, so I started off. So I've always been, not handy, but I've always done a bit of DIY. So I've not, unfamiliar with power tools and whatnot. And I had a lot of mates who were in the trade, so I used to get a lot of tips and hints off of them. And then I'd say probably about 3 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I said to the missus, we was watching a program on telly, and someone made a garden bench, and I said I could do that, and she said, no, you couldn't. I said, yeah, because she went, well, go on, I'm going to do it. I said, all right, I bloody well will. So I went out and I bought some wood and I made this garden bench, and she was well impressed. So I sold it. And then someone else said, can you make me one? I went, yeah, all right. So I did another one, and I carried on and carried on. And then after I'd done about, I don't know, 12 or 15 garden benches, I think I was a bit benched out. So I started making a few tables, and then I started having ideas about, putting, like, I've put in what do you call it, like, the plastic tubs, like containers in the middle of the table, setting that in so you could fill it with ice and put bottles of beer in and all that kind of stuff. And I was just started doing stuff like that. I had double chairs, like 2 seats with the table in the middle that lifted up and had a cooler in it, and a bottle opener, and a bloody parasol, and all sorts of stuff I'd come up with, and I'd put it together. And then around the time I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, so I was constantly watching people making stuff and thinking, oh, that's really good, or I'd sort of think, oh, I'd like to have a go at that, but if I did it, I'd do it that way, kind of thing. And slowly but surely I started building up more and more tools in the workshop. And then the one thing that I kept coming back to all the time was wood turning. I kept seeing people working on lathes, and the whole Nick Zametti thing and all that kind of stuff, and I joined a few groups on Facebook, and I was chatting on there to people, and somebody had sort of said, oh, where is everyone? And everyone was sort of saying where they were, and I kind of said, hey, look, I'm in South Croydon, it'd be really cool if there was anyone in my area, because I'd love to have a look at it. And this guy contacts me, and he lives in Kenley, about 20-30 minutes away. So I went over to his house, and he said, oh yeah, you can have a go. And I turned up at like 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I think I got in about 6 o'clock that night, and I said to the missus, oh, that's me done. That's me. As soon I made 2 pens. I always remember it. I made one walnut pen and one maple pen. I honestly can tell you that as soon as that tool touched the rest, I thought, this is a bit of me. I've got to have some of this. And within a week, I'd been down to Axminster. I dropped £1,000 on a new lathe, the chisel. I mean, like, literally, I went mental and bought everything. Do you know what I mean? And and from that point on, it was like I'm just really into. But I still like to mess about a bit. You know what I mean? I don't want to be sort of not pigeonholed, but I don't tend to stick to one particular thing. My brother sort of said to me, my brother lives out in Texas, and he said to me, he said, at one thing. He said, you seem to flick around the place. And I said, yeah. I said, but I just like doing what interests me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, well, I'm the same. I've got lots of different interests, and sometimes I don't do any of them for a while, and then I'll sort of dip in and dip out of other things. But yeah, I like to do lots of different stuff as well. So is there any reason why you like making? What is it about making?
So I find it really therapeutic. I find it a good way to relax. I think if you have any sort of anxiety or anything like that, I think it's a really good way to just switch off. I can go out into the workshop. I can, chuck a bit of wood on the lathe, or I can, get some tools out and start cutting something up. And I literally, it's like I just switch off completely. And before I know it, I've lost, 3 hours out there and not had a care in the world. Whereas you could sit indoors sort of worrying about this or thinking about that
Yeah.
or going over and over the same thing in your head. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you just go in a workshop and everything just goes out the window and you just focused on what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, I find it relaxing and therapeutic. I enjoy it. And that's, for me, that's the key. And I know that sounds a bit daft, but I do what I do because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Not because, like, a lot of people have said, oh, you know, would you do it for a living? And I say, I don't know, because I really would like to. I'd like to be able to say, oh, I do this every day. Why would you not want to do something you like doing? But as soon as it becomes a business, suddenly it's a different angle you're coming from, and you can't sort of say no. Whereas I can do, I mean, I've got projects I've done where I've done it because I thought it was a good idea at the time, and you know, I enjoyed making it. But I've also had projects like I had a children's nursery contacted me and said that they had a picket fence that they needed changing. They said, we want a new picket fence. Someone's put us in touch with you. Said you might be able to help us out. So I went down there and I had a look. And long story short, the place was called Jigsaw. So what I ended up doing was they wanted the pickets higher. So I ended up raising the pickets up. I bought all new palisades. I raised all the palisades up, but I shaped them all into pencils. I coloured them all different colours, so they all look like colouring pencils. And then I put a new gravel board on the bottom, but I routed it out into the shape of jigsaws and blackened up the grooves, so it looked like there were strips of jigsaw along the bottom, and they were absolutely made up with it. Do you know what I mean? But I said to him, I don't do it for a living. I just do it to try and help people out. And if it interests me, if someone had said to me, hey, can you come and help me put this fence up? I'd have gone, nah, you're all right. Because they said, oh, we want something new. And I thought, oh, colouring pencils, jigsaw. Yeah, that interests me. Oh, I'll have a go at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds really nifty design, that, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I'm good like that. I've got a lot of ideas. I've not got a lot of the skill, but I've got a lot of the ideas.
Well, that's, it's a big, you know, if you've got the ideas and then you practice, you know, you'll end up with some really cool things.
Yeah.
So
what other sorts of things do you make? I had a quick look at your YouTube, and you've got all sorts of different stuff on there, but you've obviously made a variety of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of done all sorts of different things. I mean, I've messed about a bit with resin, so I do a bit of resin casted, and I think there's a couple of videos on my channel where I had a go at making my own silicone molds.
Yeah.
But I made them using bathroom silicone sealant from the bathrooms and corn flour.
Yeah.
That was good fun. So I've done a bit of that. I've done a bit of obviously the wood turning. So I've made, you know, the goblets and the bowls. Started off doing pens and things like that, you know. But really, like I say, I've got all sorts of stuff. I've got projects out there that I've not even started yet, but I've ideas that I've had. I've got this thing about storm lanterns, you know, the glass chili lamp type things. Yeah, and I can see it in my head, and that's a lot of the time what I do. I can look at something and think, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I know I'm going to do something with it. I've got about 8 of them out there. I've got about 8 of the oil burners, the little brass oil burner things, and I keep thinking I'm going to put like LEDs in them, or you know, light bulbs and cords and stuff, and turn them into lamps. So yeah, I pretty much have a go at most things. As long as I've done a bit of leather working. I put I made my workshop stall. I got a welder, and I did a bit of welded all the workbench up in the workshop, and then I welded a frame up for the stall. I then used an angle grinder to power carve the seat. I glued a load of wood together and power carved the seat, and then I got some leather from the first year at Makers. I went to Tandy and I bought a big roll of leather that they had in the scrap bin. I thought, I'll do something with that. Cut a big piece off of that and made the back of the stall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's quite nice, isn't it? Because when you do something like that, you can sort of go, I did that.
I know. Yeah. I think that's what's nice about being creative. It's that you've got something to show at the end of it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what's compelling about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I love baking, and that's probably the thing I do the most. But at the end of it, you get a cake and you get to eat it, and it's, you know, it's just having something that somehow you've created. That's
Yeah.
what I like about it.
Yeah.
So you went to Maker Central this year, and you went last year as well, did you?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. Both years. Yeah.
So you're quite involved in the maker community, are you?
I don't know if involved is the right word. I'm probably quite known as the big fat fella with a beard.
So, well, my next question is, what has the maker community given you?
So, for fear of sounding cheesy, it's a bit like JP said when you had him on the other week. It's given me some really good friends.
Yeah,
It's given me one or two bad ones as well, which sometimes is more fun than the good ones. But but no, it's given me a lot of good friends. It's amazing. It's amazing how you sort of. I said, especially the first year at Makers, it was really weird because I was sat there. There's a guy who lives out in Arizona called Alejandro, and a lot of people will see him on Instagram and whatnot. But he was there the first year, and he was over with the Easy Wood Tools guy.
Spoke to him.
So Alex, yeah. So
Yeah.
we were sat in the bar. We got there on the Friday. We sat in the bar chatting with him because he was sort of on his own kind of thing. So we're sitting there chatting away, and he's saying, "Oh, do you know these people?" Like, and I'm saying, "Well, you know, I know some of them from YouTube, and I've seen them." I'm saying that's so and so, and that's so and so, and I'm pointing all these people out. And Joe was with us. Joe Whitaker was stood there, and I said, "Oh, that's Joe." I said, "I know Joe." And then I looked at Joe and I said, "Actually, I don't know Joe because I'd never met Joe. I'd never spoken to Joe. But I felt like I knew Joe because I'd watched his videos and we'd had a few messages back and forth over YouTube and that. Do you know what I mean? It's quite bizarre how you almost feel like you know people before you know them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I said to you this year, that first year was just mad. It was everything went by in a blur, and you kind of, I mean, I came home. We was up there Friday to Monday, me and the missus, and we spent the whole weekend there. We came home and I said, "Do you know what?" I said, I don't think I saw half the stands that were there. I said, I didn't see a single demo all weekend. And I said, all I caught was 10 minutes of Chris. I saw 10 minutes of you. And I said, I was just absolutely blown away. Do you know what I mean? And for me, this year, I said, I'm going to make more of an effort. I'm going to try and see more stands. I'm going to try and watch more. Yeah, that didn't happen. You still get sidetracked into chatting to everyone and meeting everybody. And
yeah, because when we bumped into you, it was I was doing the pen.
That's right.
Makers International, and you sort of like you were loitering with intent there.
Yeah, yeah. I said I've never been one to sort of go to. Is giddy a manly word? I don't think it is, but I don't think I've ever gone too giddy over anyone. But I've got to admit, Chris, I was proper fanboying over you. You know that. So
yeah.
I mean, the missus was the only one who stopped me throwing my pants at you. You know.
we felt the love, man. we felt the love. And, obviously, you know, a few weeks later, we got the chance to hang out with you and your club mates. So
absolutely, yeah,
it's cool. But no, Makers Central, I completely agree. And the first year, although I did the 2 demos, it's just a maelstrom, and you do come away kicking yourself, thinking, "Holy moly, we forgot to do that," and "Holy moly, we forgot to do this," and it's just. And this year, I had 6 demos to do, and I had even less time to get around. But Nicola did sort of like walk me around the hall a couple of times, and we still missed because we were walking around, and then Nicola said, "Flipping heck, your demo starts in 15 minutes, and you're just getting into your stride." So it's difficult for everyone to.
I almost saw less this year than I did last year. because, well, you were so busy and I was with you most of the time. It was only a bit when I wandered off, but yeah, it was sort of, you almost wanted an extra day or
you know, the funny thing, I came home and I started watching everybody's videos as the videos start uploading to YouTube. And I remember watching them and seeing stands and thinking, I didn't know they were there. Where was that stand? I never saw that, you know.
Yeah.
And I realised how much I actually missed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was the only. I said I think it's the only like show or tool show or whatever you want to call it that I've ever been to where I actually walked in when the doors opened and got kicked out when they were closing up the hall for the night. Do you know what I mean? How can you spend that long there and not see everything? It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it was just so many people to meet and so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But no, so in terms of the question, yes, it's definitely given me some really good friendships. But I think more than anything, it's given me opportunities, because I think it's opened up a lot of opportunities for me to actually learn new stuff, to test myself, to try different things, and to realise that, you know, I know I look incredibly young and handsome and all that, but I'm actually pushing 50, so you know I'm not afraid to say it.
Telling me
I've got to tell you, you don't look it.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Cheers for that, mate. We should have probably rehearsed that one a bit more.
Yeah. Well, I'm pushing 50 as well.
Yeah, but the worst thing is you look a lot better than I do on it.
Well, that ship sailed quite some time ago for me.
Well,
oh no, you don't look it at all, Nicola. No.
Thank you. That's so kind of you to say.
Yeah, despite the white hair.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
But no, it gave me opportunities to sort of to express this sort of creativity that has probably always been there, but I've never really sort of used it much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, it's given me inspiration. I mean, I said to you, Chris, I've got my missus complains because I've got all my stuff seems to be lying around everywhere, but I've got this. This is
What is it?
this is my compressor.
Oh, you got one then.
I seriously, if this is not the epitome of inspiration, I don't know what is. I watched you using this on the Saturday. I got home Saturday night and ordered it, and it was delivered on Sunday.
Brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? So if that's not inspiration to go out and try something new, do you know what I mean? But I watched you using it and thought, oh, I've got to get one of them.
Yeah, they're so easy to use, and I mean, if you back the pressure off and sort of like back the trigger off, you know, they're so controllable. And I mean, like I say, I have to rely on hearing the sound of the airbrush when it's hitting the edge of the bowl or a rim. But I mean, within, you know, listen to a couple of videos on YouTube, have a bit of a mess around, and with half an hour, you can be pretty accurate with them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you know? It's funny. It's funny you mentioned about the sound on the rim. So when you talk about the sound on the rim, I feel like I need to show off at this point. So this is my Nicola bowl that I'm very privileged to own. So this was made by your own fair hands, Chris, as you know. But when you did this rim, there you go. When you did this rim, the amount of people, I was telling my daughter about this, and she said, oh, so what does he do? Like make the thing black and then turn the bowl? And I went, no, he turned the bowl and then he sprayed it black. Oh, right. So what, like he put tape around? No, I said he just sprayed the edge. She went, but how does he not get the black everywhere? I said, because he listens. And do you know the funny thing about it? The amount of people that came to that demo that have gone away and come back and said, do you know what? I tried doing stuff with my eyes closed, and I've tried doing this with my. There's probably going to be like 97% of our club that ends up dying from tools through the eyes or something, where they're all trying to copy the Blind Woodturner.
Yeah, better of our insurance.
Yeah. We better get some better
public liability.
But for anybody listening. But if you want to have a mess around with a blindfold on in your workshop, you know, you've got my blessings, but please be careful. But you know, even I would suggest before you try hollowing out or turning a bowl with a blindfold on, just put a blindfold on and just try and walk through your house for half an hour and listen to the TV and try and make a sandwich with no eyesight, you know, and then go out and turn something.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, though. It's not even the turning; it's how it makes you look differently at what you're turning.
Yeah.
So when we was all talking about it, because I was up there Saturday, I said to you we had a 25th anniversary barbecue on Saturday, and I was talking to a lot of the guys there, and they were saying that since your demo, it's made them think differently about the processes that they follow. And whereas before, I can't remember, I'm probably going to word it all completely wrong, but sort of to misquote you, what you said was a lot of people go, oh yeah, I can just do that, and they overshoot it a bit because their eyes are sort of lying to them almost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And or they get a little bit overconfident with it. Whereas watching your demo, people are now starting to listen to what they're doing more, and they're starting to feel. I think the mantra for the day was start, stop, and feel, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You constantly start, stop, feel, and it is that kind of process that you think actually, yeah, why do we just turn and just go like that when we could actually stop, have a feel, think, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you do start to pick up a bit more on those other senses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it can't do any harm, that's for sure. You know,
Yeah.
And to just start trusting your hearing and your touch more. You know, it can only make you a better turner. You know, it's not going to do anything derogatory. It's all going to be, another element to your skill level. The fact that you're listening and feeling more, and of course, because you're sighted, while you're feeling, you can have a look and go, yeah, that feels like that, but I know why now, and that feels a certain way, and I love that. So it's funny because you're not the first person to say we're going to start feeling and listening more intently to our wood turning. It's been said since turning at your club a couple of times, because I think it was the day that I did the 2 demos in North Wales.
Yeah.
On the same day. So someone said to me, yeah, we're definitely going to listen more intently to what we're doing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's that inspiration. And I've watched a lot of people, and I think one of the things that I've often talked about is like this sort of, there's almost like an overlap between inspiration and plagiarism, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Like because you can't help watching people and thinking, I really like that, but I wonder if I did this, and just putting that little tweak on it. Makes it sort of yours, as it were. Do you know what I mean? But I've done things like my first go at resin art, when I put the canvases out and I just pour all the coloured resins on, and I'm not artistic. I always say to people, there's 2 things I go by. One is I'm not a wood turner. I'm a guy who turns wood. There's better wood turners out there than me. I can do it a bit, but I'm still learning a lot. Do you know what I mean? But also I'm not artistic. I can't draw or paint a picture, you know what I mean? I used to work with a guy who used to take photographs, and I know, Nicola, you like a bit of photography and that. If you take, he used to take a photograph and say, oh, look, these are my holiday photos, and there'd be a picture of his wife with the tree and the blue sky and the birds, and it would just look really good. And when I'd take the same sort of picture, it'd be a geezer next to a tree, and that was it. And you kind of look at it and think it doesn't look the same, and it's all about that framing it and having that artistic eye on it. Well, I'm not artistic, but I am creative, and I think I can, a lot of the time I can come up with ideas of stuff that I want to do. I can see it in my head. I've just got to try and get it out into reality. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so I watched videos of like Pam Harris with her resin art, and I had to go at doing some resin art and stuff, and it was great fun. I really enjoyed that. But I watched a lot of hers to see how it was done and all that. And then people like JC, like John Clovier. I loved all the, I've got one there. all the sort of wood turning things that John does with the
Yeah.
circles, and then I sort of so with this one I did a bit of the gold leaf. I saw
Yeah.
he'd used some gold leaf and some colours, but then I also did, like, dare I say it, my Lichtenberg fractal burning on it. Do you know what I mean? Which is frowned upon in a lot of circles. I don't endorse it. I'm just, it's just what I do. I'm not advising people to try it themselves. It's incredibly dangerous. It is incredibly cool, but it's incredibly dangerous. And my missus hates it when I use the machine. But yeah, you know what I mean. There's so many people out there that I've watched, and I've been inspired to sort of try what they're doing, because I just like the way it comes out. And I think, I wonder if I could do that. I wonder what I can do to that to sort of, put my own sort of stamp on it, my own mark on it. Do you know what I mean?
I think when you're saying about inspiration and plagiarism being close, I remember watching a film with Sean Connery. I think it was called Finding Forrester, and he was a writer, and he was teaching this young boy how to be a better writer. And he said sometimes you just start with a piece of writing and you kind of start typing it out until your words start coming. So you sort of take somebody else's idea and you use it as your foundation, but then eventually you'll move away from that and put your own slant on it. And I always think that's quite a nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I find it, with the stuff that I do, I'm inspired by things other people do. And you start by emulating, and then you start putting your own twist on it and your own flavour to it.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Even, if you go back through history, the great masters would have had, mentors, and they would have been apprenticed somewhere. And, they get their ideas from their masters, and, the seed is planted. And then after years and years of toil and, practice, your own style starts to develop and comes through. So the beauty about the maker community is, and the reason why we post our stuff on YouTube, is saying, look, here's my version of it, but go and have a go and see what you can do, and go and do it better, and then you pass it on, pay it forward. See something, have a go, develop your own style and twist on it, and then show someone else and pass it on, pay it forward. And I think we all do that, and that's a big reason as to why we do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I'm just going to have a look in the comments for a minute before we carry on. So we've got Maple Tree Studios, Wayne the Woodturner,
Evening.
T+G Making,
Evening.
Andy Pugh, Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft, Wood Turning Live with Steve Twidell.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Blue Light Turner creating shavings since 2016.
Deep breath.
Andy Pugh. Have I said Andy Pugh?
You said Andy
Pugh. Mike Atkinson.
Hi, bro.
Leona Faye.
Hi, Leona.
It starts getting difficult because you can't remember who you said. Oh, Christina Michael Hesseltine.
Hi, guys.
Dave the Wood Barber.
Hi, Dave.
String Flings, Jen's Woodworking and Things.
Woohoo! That's another good name.
There's some comments. Oh, there's a few comments about Steve and his birthday. He says, just stuffed my face and blew out the candles before the fire brigade were called. That's the trouble when you've got a big number birthday.
Lots of fire.
So sunburn, lots of happy birthdays. What they're drinking, cider and all sorts of things. What else have we got? Lots of talk about drink and what they've been drinking.
I have that effect on people.
Wayne the Woodturner. Christine and Michael Hesseltine said, this was a bit about you saying about Maker Central and Makers and Friends. That was how we felt with the first You Kiss in 2 and 3. Yeah, that was good. Leona said, an extra day and I'd have been dead. That was at Maker Central. Yeah, I agree. I think we just about made it through 2 days, but
Yeah, but to be fair, I think that was because poor old Leona was getting dragged around by Steve all the time, wasn't it? An extra day with Steve and anybody would be dead. Only kidding, Steve. Love you, really.
Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft says, just subscribe to Dave's channel. His progression through his maker life is very similar to mine. Apart from welding, I can't do that.
Neither can I. Neither can I. But you know what? In all honesty, I bought an £80 welder from Lidl. I watched a few videos online, and I've had a go. It's
There you go.
Touch wood, dare I say it, is still holding up. I've bashed everything on that workbench, and I ain't fell off the stool yet. So have a go. You'd be amazed. It's brilliant. It's absolutely. And I always say the one thing about creativity is that the only thing that limits you is your own imagination.
Yeah.
If you come up with an idea, what's the worst that's going to happen? It don't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as it ain't dangerous, does it matter? You know,
well, it's about having fun along the way, isn't it?
Absolutely. The resin art is a great example of that, because every one I've done, I've made all these abstract pictures and all the resin set and everything, and then I took an old fence panel that somebody gave. It sounds awful, but it was quite a nice fence panel. But I recycled some of the wood to make a frame, and I framed all these pictures up. And the great thing is that you've actually got 4 different pictures, because it depends which way you hang it, because there's no right or wrong way to put it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's brilliant about it, because you can just constantly have a go at this sort of stuff. It's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned about my sort of journey on woodworking and YouTube and whatnot, because one thing I did want to say is, so I've struggled more recently in terms of the YouTube stuff and all that. One, because I've had, you know, things going on in life, as you guys know already, but also I signed up for a craft show, which was something quite new to me. I thought I'd give it a bash, and I've done about 2 or 3 of them now, and it's good fun. I enjoy it because, one, when you're making this stuff, there's only so much of it you can keep. Right? Eventually, you've got to find an outlet for it somewhere.
Yeah.
And also, it gives you an opportunity to tell the story. So I realised that, you know, when you go out and you've got like the Nicola bowl, it's not just a bowl, it's the story around the bowl. Do you know what I mean? It's the wood that you've used, it's the process that was followed, and when you do this, it makes that, and you know, I can talk for hours about some of the crap that I've made, and people are really engaging with it. Do you know what I mean? If you've got if you've got a pen made from bog oak that's been carbon dated to 4,000 years old, suddenly it makes it a talking point. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, I'm not selling a pen, I'm selling the process of around that pen. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I kind of did these craft shows, but because I was trying to get stuff ready, I was literally just hitting the workshop, just trying to get as much stuff done as I can. And I realized that actually I really enjoy the process. I enjoy the making. What I don't enjoy is the filming and the editing. I don't think I'm very good at it. And I don't really like it because it tends to suck a lot of the fun out of it. So I've kind of struggled more recently. I don't think I've uploaded a video for a good 2 or 3 months, maybe.
You know what the answer is, don't you?
Go live, do a podcast.
YouTube live, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but one thing I have got on my channel is I started off. I had this idea for what I called Makers Showdown, and the idea was that I would get 2 makers together, and I've got a random wheel of, I forget what I called it now. I made some wheel up that spins with the whole thing, you know.
Like Wheel of Fortune.
Yes, like that. And basically what I do is I spin it and I choose an item. So it might be something that spins, it might be something you use to eat with, like a fork or a plate or a cup or whatever. It could be anything. So once we've got the object, I then spin it again and get a material. So then they have to include whatever the material is somewhere in that build process. Do you know what I mean? And I did a couple with Pam and Joe did the first one, and I had Richard Bennett, you know, the Beard 16. and Huey Lionheart. They did the second one, and I really want to try and push that more and do more of those, because it was a lot of fun, and it's quite I kind of like seeing other people doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it was a way of sort of like taking that on, and so I'd like to get more people involved in that and do more of that.
Sounds good, and I think it's the collaboration is nice as well, and you know, as we said, it's all about this community and sharing stuff and doing stuff together, and I think that's really nice. So is there anything that you really love to make?
I mean, more recently I started off doing pens. Pens was the first thing I started doing. I then got penned out and started moving on to things like bowls. I like goblets. I like doing goblets, and I certainly like captive rings. I've got a thing about doing a captive ring, and I enjoy doing that. But really, I think the main thing for me is anything that allows me to sort of express the creativity. Do you know what I mean? So if I can do something that I enjoy doing, that for me, that's the primary aim. If I enjoy it, it doesn't matter what it is. Do you know what I mean? But by the same token, if it's something that I can do that allows me to sort of express that creativity or whatever. I tend to do a lot of garden furniture, planters, stuff like that, because it's very forgiving, isn't it? You know what I mean? I don't think, I'm a bit ham-fisted, so I don't think I'm ever going to be your sort of fine dovetail furniture kind of guy. That ain't me. Do you know? I'm certainly not going to come around and fix that chair, that's for sure, Chris, unless you want a big 4-inch screw through the back of it or something.
I think even I will be able to manage to fix this chair. It's just the joints. Basically, the glue's failed.
Oh, I see.
And the joint is still intact and everything. So it's just a bit of tight bond and clamp it up, and she'll be good.
Happy days.
Yeah.
I'd like to do more art stuff. I think I'd like to do more of the resin art. I'd like to do more of the bigger turnings. I bought the bigger lathe. I bought the Coronet Herald when we was at Makers this year.
Oh, right.
But I'm ashamed to admit that I've still got it in my office. I haven't even set it up yet, because I'm one of them that it has to be right. Do you know what I mean? And because I can't just set it up and then be tripping over it in the middle of the workshop, so I've got to try and work out where the hell I'm going to put it. But as soon as I've done that, then I want to start turning bigger pieces and more sort of. I want to sort of bridge that gap between the sort of wood turning and art, if you like. You know?
Yeah. So, can you tell us something about you that the maker community doesn't know?
Oh, okay, so
here's a good one. Where's that secret woodyard that was on that video?
I'm not at liberty to tell you about that.
All right, tell us something else then we don't know.
You'll have to work a lot harder if you want to get that one out.
When I was listening to that, I thought, it sounds a cool place.
Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But no, what I was kind of thinking about this, and I was thinking all along the lines of, you know, what have I done in previous years? You know, I'm a qualified chef by trade, so I was originally, when I left school, I went off and did all my training for 2 years, and you know, the whole Jamie Oliver thing. But then I thought, that's a bit naff, and then I thought, okay, well, I know I was on TV about 9 years ago. We did a TV program with Tommy Walsh, where it wasn't Ground Force, but we did a similar sort of thing. And I thought, that sounds a bit crap. And then I thought, I know. So last year, and a lot of people I don't think will know this. I don't think I posted on Instagram now. I'm just trying to think. Last year, I was on stage at Wembley Arena with, okay, it gets better, with Vanilla Ice and Salt and Pepper, Tone Loc, Coolio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because my mate, I've got a friend. I think I said to you earlier, my brother lives out in Texas.
Yeah.
And I used to go out there a lot every year to play golf. And we'd go on a golf trip with all his mates and all that. And there was this one guy that I got friendly with. His name was Keith, and he was the drummer for Vanilla Ice.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he came over, he messaged me and said, "Hey, look, we're coming to London. You know, you got to come and see me." So I said, "Okay." So he added us on the guest list. So when I turned up with a couple of my pals, we sort of went in and we're on the VIP list for Vanilla Ice, and we've got all these like badges and all that. And then they took us, like, he came out and said hi, and then he took us down to the front, and we sort of like, the guy big security guard pulls back the barrier, and we go through, and we're in the VIP section now, and there's loads of space, and I think, oh, this is nice. And then he says, yeah, come through this curtain, and we go through the curtain and then up the stairs, and there we are right at the back of the stage. Wow. So my mates have gone forward, and they're dancing on the stage like idiots with Vanilla Ice and all that, but I went up these steps and I was stood behind my mate while he was drumming. Oh my god, it was just phenomenal, unbelievable experience. But he's no longer Vanilla Ice's drummer. He's now the drummer for Salt and Pepper, and he's just finished a tour with New Kids on the Block.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So there you go. So last year I was on stage with Vanilla Ice.
That's cool.
Not many people can say they've been on the stage Wembley.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me see. So has anybody got anything they'd like to ask Dave before we carry on to what the Fishers have been doing this week segment?
Dun, dun, dun.
Because I'm listening to you, I missed some of the comments, so I'm not sure if anybody's asked anything or I've just missed it. So if you've asked anything, you might have to ask it again. Steve Twidell says, does no one realise that the dark glasses Chris wears are X-ray glasses? He can see way more than any of us. He's a regular superhero, is our Chris.
Well, that'd be cool. You remember when you used to go to the joke shop as a kid? And they were selling the X-ray specs.
Yeah, with the spiral on them.
Yeah, well, I kept them because they really were. Yeah, that's right, with the spiral on. Yeah.
There's a question here.
The way you're laughing, I don't know if I want to hear this.
Get it said.
Dave the Wood Barber.
Oh, God.
Is Dave going to put some gold leaf in his balls? I'm taking it that's not a rude question. Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah. So when I was at Makers this year, I had a piece on display on the House of Resin, which was a sphere. a sphere, but Dave was more impressed with the fact that he'd seen my balls.
Oh, right.
And I think that's what he's referring to. And if he's referring to the other thing, we said it happened once. We'd never talk about it again. It was a mistake that should never have happened.
Maple Tree Studios, are you going to build the new workshop?
Am I going to build a new workshop? If I am, I'm going to build it just like his, because I'm not convinced that's a friend of mine called Dale, and I'm not convinced that he actually does do any work in his workshop, because it is without a doubt the cleanest workshop you've ever seen in your life. I mean, there is not a speck of dust, let alone sawdust. And it's all super high tech. He's got all his. You'd love it, Chris, because he walks in and says, "Alexa, put the lights on," and all the lights come on. And, it's all voice activated and everything. I've got definite workshop envy.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Does sound nice.
So, tell us where people can find you online.
Where they can find me online. Well, hopefully, if I get my mojo back and get back into it, they can find me on YouTube at Dave G Designs, or failing that, I'm on Instagram at dave.g.designs.
Yeah.
I do have a Facebook page, but I don't update it that regularly now, because Facebook's kind of like, it's more difficult, especially when you've got a personal one and a page. I forget to go and update the page, so a lot of stuff goes on my personal one. So I'm either on Facebook as Dave Gunner, I'm on Instagram as dave.g.designs or YouTube as Dave G Designs.
Okay, cool. So, Chris, anything else you'd like to add?
Where's that amazing timber yard near you?
I'll take you down there one day, Chris, but I'll have to blindfold you so you don't know where we're going.
Oh no, you don't have to bother blindfolding me. I'll tell you what, once you've driven me there, I will never forget that route.
Yeah, you need to watch that because we'll be going somewhere and Chris will say things to me like, have we just passed that white house on the left? He always knows exactly where we are.
But because I'll know, and sort of like subconsciously I'm counting manhole covers and bumps in the road.
Yeah,
I use them as mental waypoints to navigate. So yeah. But if Nicola can tell me sort of like a visual, oh yeah, we have just passed a certain building, I'll quickly go through it, especially if it's an area where I used to live in Manchester or something like that. She'll be a visual reference and I'll go, right, quickly, memory map. Oh, right, well, you turn second left up here and then anger right. And so it's pretty cool. So, but Mike Newman, he does that immensely well.
Yeah.
So
we don't need sat navs when it's somewhere that Chris knows.
Chris Nav.
Chris Nav,
yes.
yeah. Well, Dave, it's been a pleasure having you on.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be on. It's been a joy. I could never spend enough time with you guys. You know I'm a proper fanboy in it.
You don't have to go anywhere. You're welcome to stay with us.
Fantastic,
we'll do our little chat, but feel free to chip in and
chirp up
anything that you'd like to add at any point. But we just do like a little thank you for being on now, so that when I do the editing, I can put it on as the Maker Monday segment. So
so don't forget that your segment will be uploaded to my channel, the Blind Woodturner, on YouTube
and it goes on audio podcast
for people to listen to if they've missed it.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if when you put me live on your channel, you suddenly get a big change with your subs, Chris, because
Oh right, well yeah.
They'll probably dive.
No, they won't. They won't. So yeah, I'm prepped for that. Come on, more subs. Woo! So I want 8,000 passed by Christmas.
Well, yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So no, it's been a joy having you, Dave. It's lovely talking to you again.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so very much for making us so welcome at the club down south.
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And who knows, one day I might even come up north.
Yeah.
Now, who am I kidding? I don't leave London.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
So that was epic. And just before we went live, Dave was sort of like saying, "Oh, I don't know what to say. How's it gonna go? Are you listening, Dave?"
Yeah. I could tell he was struggling.
Yeah. Listen, mate, you had no. I said, be yourself, and you'll be fine, and you were. So that's people. People want to get into the stride, and they just start chatting like this is what it's meant to be: informal chat with your mates. You're off and running, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it's very cool, very cool. And once again, we've had a great guest, and we know some interesting stuff about them that we didn't know before. So it's a win-win-win.
Yeah. Leona says nice shirts, guys. Yes.
Yeah, we're forking bananas tonight.
Yeah. Special birthday tribute.
Yes. In like Nicola said, in honor of Mr. Twidell.
Yeah.
So
how's everybody been this week? Hope you've had a good week. Well, it's the start of the week, but last week since we last spoke to everybody. So I'm going to start with Holy Moly.
Go on then.
You said Holy Moly earlier, made me think. We have a mole. He lives in our garden. Down the side of the house, we've got some hawthorn trees. And every now and again, I see these sort of mounds of fresh earth. And one night, I'd just gone outside just to water the garden. And there was a fresh mound of earth. and it kept moving. So I watched it for quite a bit, and I got a bit of video. I didn't see the mole. He never came right up to the top. Just kept seeing this soil moving, and I could hear him underground as well. So yeah, that was quite
so
cool.
cute.
I know.
I know for a lot of people it would be deemed as a pest, but I think it's so cute to have this, you know, little creature with the whiskers and the little button nose. You know, like me. I'm feeling it because he's blind like me, you see. So you know, he's there just scurrying through his little tunnels and popping his head out and trying to get the worms and things like that. So I think it's very cute that we've got a mole, and there's no way that I'd, you know, want anything to happen to it.
Well, it's sort of the side of the house is quite
rural.
Well, yeah, it's what I call my little wood.
Intentionally, we've got it as a woodland area with the hawthorn trees, and we've got laurels and sloe gin and red currants and not sloe gin, sloes.
Yeah, sloe gin doesn't grow on trees.
Secret distillery around the corner.
Yeah, I've got a sloe gin bush. That's epic.
Prickly Sauce says hi today. Shame he didn't make it to Brothers Bake Barbecue yesterday. Big thanks for the biscoff.
Yeah, I'm gutted. The Brothers Make threw a barbecue yesterday and invited a few people round, and but I couldn't make it. It was a little bit too soon for me with everything that's been going on. But I sent down a packet of a box of cakes for them. I've got a friend. Can I mention her? Just to give her a quick shout. A friend of mine, a little friend of mine called Grace. I met her. She's a lovely girl, and she's got she's on Instagram as Laborgie, LABORJEE, Laborgie. But she does the most amazing cakes, and she's incredible. She does Kinder Bueno blondies and caramel biscoff and fudgy brownie type things. Oh, they're brilliant. They're absolutely, they're the sort of things that you look at and you think that's going to rot my teeth just looking at it. But when you eat them, I don't know what she does to them, but they're not too sweet. They're literally perfect. But she does postal boxes, so I got her to send a box down to Brothers Make. So
Prickly says they were delicious.
Oh, brilliant! Good.
That's nice.
Yeah. Hi, Rob. Anyway.
Yeah.
We went off on a biscuit tangent then.
Oh no, it's easily done.
Yeah. Oh God, flipping heck. Yeah, I like a biscuit.
So, well, should we do the giveaway?
Yeah, we can mention that. Yeah.
So, Chris made this pen a couple of weeks ago, and it became a giveaway. There was a bit of what do you call it? Bidding and stuff for it. A bidding war.
Because it's the first made in-house resin blank that I've ever attempted.
Yeah.
And luckily, we found a resin that the ratio was 1:1, 1 part A, 1 part B, to make it easy for me. So no matter what size cup or vessel I've got, I know that it's just, it's just that. So it made it easier rather than asking for someone to help. And it had a little bit of, and the bits inside the resin, as you're drilling through a pen blank,
you can see
whether or not it's wood or acrylic. I've just saved all the shavings that come out the inside of the pen blank, and it's just that mixed inside. So
it's very nice. I really like it. It's sort of, you can see the flex, and
it was an experiment and proof of concept that ended up working. So we're gifting it.
Yeah. So these are the names of the people that said they wanted it.
Calm down, Bamba.
Bamba thinks he's got a treat now.
Bamba, it's
not
names.
It's just names. Don't get excited.
Calm down. So am I picking?
You pick, yeah.
So thanks to everyone that entered, and good luck. And there you go. And the winner is?
So the winner is Cy Smith.
Woo!
So I'm not sure if Cy's on this video, but we'll get in touch with him and arrange to send the pen on to him.
And we met Cy at Maker Central.
Yes, we did.
Nice
yes.
guy, and he was listening to our demos. He did a bit of turning with Colwyn Way, at the Axminster stand next to me, and also he managed managed to actually get on the blacksmithing stand that I'd been asked.
That's what you wanted to go at, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd been invited along to that, and again, it's like went there, and Nicola said the queues are too big. Well, let's just wait. We're speaking to Si when we were there, and then you went, no, you've got to get back and start turning. So that was, one day.
Oh, he's there. Si's on.
Hi, Si. Congratulations,
He
mate.
says I never win anything.
Well, you've just won a pen. So it's many congratulations, my friend. So we will get the details from you.
Said message.
And we'll get that into the post. So well done, mate. Nice little pen that Nicola wanted that.
Yeah, it is very nice, but I don't mind you having it. So it was. We said it was a giveaway. So enjoy. So what did you do this weekend then?
We're just going back to the weekend. What about last week?
Which bit of last week?
Well, we did sorts of stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, on Monday we went to. Was that when we went to see a man?
Yeah.
So you can. A man is a friend of ours, and he used to be a YouTube ambassador.
Yeah.
He's got a successful YouTube channel. Used to be one of your clients, really, through the Growth Hub. And well, you introduced me to him when you were through that, when you were still visiting him.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. He's spends a lot of time in America promoting his business. So we'd gone really to his office on Key Street in Manchester, just
for a catch up.
And we had a cup of tea and just to see what's happening in his life. And his company's going from strength to strength, and he does all this amazing music to soothe dogs and things, doesn't he? And
relaxation for cats and dogs.
Which is going from strength to strength for him. We went into Manchester. His office is literally where the old Granada TV studios were.
Yeah, opposite.
Pretty much opposite where Granada TV used to be. That was cool on Monday, and then later on in the week, it was.
You did some filming with
Matthew
on the Wednesday.
Yes. What did we do? Well, I won't spoil it.
No, because it'll be going live.
Yeah, this Friday. Yeah, so we did some more filming with Matthew. Had a good laugh there. What else? Woodfest. We went to Woodfest, which was in a little place called Saint Asaph, just as you get into North Wales, really. Sort of near Towyn and Prestatyn. Prestatyn. So a maker friend of ours, Baz, Timber Marvels. He was there hanging out with his mates that have got the Ian's Vintage Tool Shop.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and Baz was doing his first wood turning demos on a little MIDI lathe.
Yeah.
So we went to support Baz, and I put pictures of the cutting board we bought from him on my Twitter. But he'd made a lovely oak cutting board, and it had the sort of like the image of a wolf.
Game of Thrones. It's a Game of Thrones kind of look.
All right. So, well, when I felt it, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, and I just thought of B-Dog.
Yeah.
Bamber. When I felt it, and it had been beautifully CNC engraved in the top, so I bought that. And what did you end up doing? I know what you ended up doing.
Oh yeah, I made a steak, didn't I?
Sort of steak.
A vampire steak on a shave horse that Baz had made. And what's that implement I used?
Knife.
I used a draw knife, and it was great once I got the hang of it. Because I took the bark off first, and once I got to to grips with it, and I wasn't digging in too much. It was just like kind of peeling carrots. And then Baz did a bit because I was struggling getting it going to get the actual shape of the point, and then I finished it off. But yeah, it was
good.
It was really, I was really into it.
Yeah, I can see a shave horse in Nicola's future.
Yeah,
I can imagine her out in the garden with a shave horse, making hurdles and little fences and gates.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it just goes to show that you can do sort of like something completely new for the first time. This ancient old craft, that the bodgers do and things. And you were there, you were away, weren't you?
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. But Woodfest wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because the website, it kind of looks much bigger. But it was, there were these guys with chainsaws doing carving. So probably about 10 guys with these massive trunks of wood and carving different things, big, tall structures. Lots and lots of people selling stuff that they've carved. There was a food tent with cheese and chocolate and wine and mead and drinks. What else did we see? We saw the guy on the treadle lathe. Was it the pole lathe?
Yeah,
pole lathe.
He was quite cute.
That was really good.
Yeah, he's still a working bodger.
Yeah,
and he had a shave horse there and a pole lathe, and he made some really cool things. So we're talking to him. We also listened to. We just stopped by. They had sort of like what you'd call a lumberjack, and they had to sort of like chop through a tree trunk with an axe.
So they were cutting it sort of left and right, cutting a triangle out of each side until they could cut through, and it fell over.
The quickest one that could cut through. That sort of stuff. So it's
all wood skills, woodman skills.
Forestry and foresters and wood carvers and lumberjacks and lots of stalls and stands and.
It was just a really good event, wasn't it? It was one of the nicest things I've been to for a while.
Yeah, we really liked it.
It was chilled out. We talked to lots of nice people.
Yeah.
The guys on the vintage tool stand, they were really nice, and they made us drinks and we chatted a lot. And Ian showed you around all the tools, didn't he?
Let me touch all these ancient tools, and vintage planes and draw knives, and he buys and sells vintage tools, which was awesome. So yeah, it was a cracking day. On the drive there, it was raining quite hard.
Yeah.
By the time we'd got there, it stopped raining, and then an hour or so into the day, it warmed up, and we could take our coats off, couldn't we? And we had a great time. And Baz,
really nice.
Baz did a great job on his first day.
Yeah.
And. Yeah, very proud of the young lad.
Yeah,
he did a great job, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Get a few hours of turning in front of people under your belt, and then you think, don't know what the problem was. Yeah.
So, is there anything else what we've done? We've had a quieter week this week.
What have we done today? I've been turning today.
Yeah, I took the car in for a service.
The car's been in for a service. You know what happened last week.
Yeah.
I had my RPT assessment. So you know as much as I do about the result as to whether or not I've passed or not, because it has to go away now and be reviewed.
Yeah.
The assessor was here for a couple of hours, and they go over everything with a fine-tooth comb and leave, nothing unturned, do they?
No.
Yes, I shall let you know when I know either way. But yeah, they do not. They used to be able to tell you there and then if you'd passed, but now it goes.
Yeah, it goes to a committee, doesn't it?
Well, it goes to the head assessor first, and then to a committee. So. But it's done, and we just have to wait and find out now if I was successful. or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was done. Took about
So
2
fingers
hours.
crossed, yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, if you can just cross them for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it can take.
Oh, is that how long it takes? They're
Well,
going to make you wait 3 weeks?
Could be longer than that. We don't know.
Oh, blimey.
Could be longer. So
It just depends when the committee get together. So, they might get together in the next fortnight, or it could be the next month.
Right.
So we don't know. It's as and when, really, now.
yeah, I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, if you go on their website, the Register of Professional Turners, there is information about what's involved in the assessment, isn't there?
Yeah.
So it's not a mystery. I mean, they check examples of your work, they watch your turn, everything is documented by photograph, and
Video.
portions of it are videoed. They ask you a plethora of questions related to turning and your turning and the business side of it, and the whole 9 yards. That's the best way to put it. Like I say, they don't, they really do want to know pretty much everything.
Yeah.
With regards to you and your turning and your profession. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Can I ask you a question on that, Chris?
Yeah.
Just out of interest, if assuming they come back and go, "Yep, that's fine. You've now got it." Do you have to like requalify or something? Is there like
I don't know if this sort of like
what do they call it? Like when you have to renew your membership or something?
I don't know. I'd have to get Nicola to
I'm
look
not
at that
sure.
part.
I've not looked that far ahead.
But I don't know if the membership, lasts for 5 years and then you have to be reassessed.
Right.
I couldn't give you an answer on that actually, but we can find out.
I think you might pay an annual fee. I think you might pay an annual membership fee.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about any sort of retest. I suppose it's a bit like your driving test, isn't it? You're good until you get to a certain age. I don't know. I don't know.
No, we don't know that, but yeah, it's I do know that the gentleman that assessed me has been on the register for 20 years.
So let me just see.
Any questions?
Steve Twidell says he thinks that we should wear these shirts for every show, sponsored by Forking Bananas. The owner said, "Well done for getting to the assessment stage even. That's an achievement in itself." Knotted Pumpkin says, "Good luck."
Thank you, guys.
Steve says they need their heads checking if they don't accept you.
Yeah.
Dan and Sharon from Newcastle, fingers crossed.
Hi, guys.
AH Bespoke Politics, thumbs down. So,
yeah, I know that's a couple of people that have said the politics, but honestly, I'm not bothered about that. It's all about, for me, trying to prove that I can achieve a certain standard even with a severe disability, and sort of like get sort of like validation for all my hard work. And I can tell you, and I mean this sincerely, I have not had any favours. It has been, as a sighted woodturner would get. I've got to stress that.
We've had this conversation today, haven't we? And I've said that for me, I don't want Chris to be treated any differently just because he's blind. Because for me, I want his wood turning to stand up against a sighted wood turner and be considered to be, equally as good as a sighted wood turner. It's, I mean, this is how you and I are anyway. I've said to Chris from when we first got together that I'd never mollycoddle him. And, that goes for his wood turning, and he's got to be able to do it as well as a sighted wood turner, and not get a pity. We don't want pity votes or anything like that.
No.
It's got to stand up on its own.
Yeah, but having said that, for AH Bespoke there, was it AH?
Yeah.
That's just commented on the politics, thumbs down. You know, and your reasons for doing that are your own, and you know, blessings for that. But you've, and I said this a few weeks ago, you've got to understand what a huge deal this is for someone that's blind to get this accreditation, and the politics, or you know, people's views and opinions on the process. I couldn't care at all about. That's their own opinion. This is my journey and my experience, and it means the world to me, you know. And that's me being completely honest. I couldn't really give two figs what anyone else thinks. This is me doing it for us. So I just thought I'd say that. There you go.
But to be honest with you, though, it's like we were saying earlier before we started. We was talking about when you did the demo with us, and it's like I said to you. One thing that shone through for everybody was the quality of your turning, and also the quality of your delivery. And it's like I said to you, as much as you go by the moniker of the Blind Woodturner, it's not that actually defines you. Do you know what I mean? And there were times when I think there was one point when you was turning where you sort of said, just to prove it, and you sort of looked up in the air and closed your eyes, and it's like, because everyone sort of, it's like you almost forget that there's the blind aspect of it, and it's just like, wow, this guy's a really good turner. And he's delivering it really well. Because one thing that everybody was talking about as well was that there's not the fumbling and the sort of, you know where everything is. I said to you, you picked the box up with the what's it called, the Proxon in it, and you went to put it on the lathe, but there was a chisel on the lathe, and just as you went to put it down, you put your hand underneath and took the chisel away. So you knew it was there because you knew you'd put it there. And I don't know if you remember, you lost was it the Allen key or something like that?
Yeah, and then I did lose something.
And there was about 4 of us looking for it, and in the end, it was you that found.
Well, you see there, that's when the blindness comes back and bites you. The blindness comes back and bites you on the ass. There's me going, oh yeah, I know where I put that turning gouge, and then you think, oh my god, and it was on the table behind me, and this is why it's important that I get an hour before I start a demo, because I lay everything out in a specific way, and it's the same. It's that routine, it's that process. But then this bag of bits for the Proxon that had cutters in it and little Allen keys, it was right there on the table, right there. And it could have been an inch away from my face, and obviously because I can't see it. And I do say to people, as the day progresses on a full day's demo, during the heat of battle, I start putting things down and start going, I'm not too certain now where I've put that. So as the day goes on, the fumbling and the tapping around comes more into play. But it happens because, trying to get that project done in time and get it finished. So inevitably I start misplacing things and forgetting where I put them. But it's funny because blindness affects every second of my life. And you can't understand that unless you put a blindfold on for a day.
But when you say about you want to be treated the same way that a sighted woodturner would be treated, I think that's the one thing that shone through from the demo that we had. Everybody has come away saying how good you were, and not because you're blind. It was because of what you did, the products that you made. Your timing was impeccable, because you literally, like I said to you, you finished every point when you said you was going to finish it. Whereas normally people run over or they finish early or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But your timing was perfect. Your delivery was fantastic. You were so engaging, and like we were saying, the whole talking and getting the dialogue going between the audience and that. And the blindness sort of sat in the background almost, and you every now and then you have to sort of remind yourself and go, oh yeah, and bloody hell, he's blind. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was brilliant. I think that was really good. And kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks. But this it just goes to show, that with practice and lots of hard work, that anything's possible.
Yeah.
And it is, you know, obviously people don't see me practicing. They see my YouTube videos and when I do YouTube live, but you know, there's thousands of hours of practice that have gone in, and you know, I've had the help, you know, with Nicola giving me hints and tips on, you know, not speaking, because I love speaking to people and I've never been nervous doing that, but you know, just how to get the information over as concisely and precisely as I can. So we have invested a lot of practice and time into it that no one knows.
Do you remember the first time?
Oh, right.
When we were in the car.
Yeah, Nicola, yeah.
I think that was for speaking.
Yeah, my first public speaking gig. I'd been practicing and we're driving. And then Nicola said, right, so tell me something about yourself. Go. And I'm like, what? So, but yeah, even while we've been, and this is again Nicola with a years of practice in the corporate world and doing presentations and mentoring and meetings. Even before we started doing our first demos and public speaking, we'd be driving along and I'd be practicing. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know with your remarks, Dave, and your friends from the club, that all that hard work and practice pays off.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And, you know, nothing is given to you in life for free. You have to invest the time. You have to invest the time. And me being a cheeky chap makes it that little bit easier. And enjoying it makes it that little bit easier. But boy, have we put in hundreds and hundreds of hours of practice, you know, to get the demo performance to where it is at the moment. And there's always room for improvement. You know, sometimes I'll go on and think, oh no, I forgot to mention that, or especially in the afternoon of a demo, Nicola say, yeah, the tiredness is coming then, because the banter begins to tail off. So,
you get grumpy.
Not grumpy, I just start going
he just
quiet.
Gets tired.
Yeah. Again, because of the mental process. But yeah, it sure is a damn sight easier than if we wouldn't have practiced.
Yeah.
So yeah, to the people out there thinking of, you know, doing demos that haven't done them before, yeah, of course you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Just, you know, spend a bit of time just practicing, going over. You see, I can't ever follow a script because I can't read the chuffing thing. But that's not to say that I'm not mentally going through what I think I'd like to say.
But we came up with a thing, didn't we, based on the hero's journey as well. I'm really interested in the hero's journey, which is a Joseph Campbell thing, and he talks about different stages, and it's a cyclical thing. So we were talking about, you know, you start with a challenge, like
Bamba's
a dog
making a
trying
bid for
to
freedom.
It goes through all these different stages, so we kind of use that as a way of Chris telling his story as well, and that just gives you like little milestones, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
yeah.
Prickly Sauce says you are a pro, Chris, and a great team together.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, we are a good, and I've said oh yeah, Robert Rees, when he'd commented on that last video, the power card one, I commented what a great team we are, and how great I think you are.
Oh,
basically.
You're all right as well.
Not too bad. So yes, so that's I
think we might have come to a natural end, really.
So we're just off out in the morning, going to a local
craft place.
Right, it's a craft place because you want to talk to Heather.
Yeah.
There.
So as at the moment, only because I've not progressed it any further, we don't have anybody lined up for next Monday.
Oh no.
But I can resolve it this week. But I've just.
Do you want me back?
You might be coming back. So if anybody is up to do next week, just let me know.
Yeah, get in touch. And
otherwise, I've got there's somebody on this chat actually that has been mentioned. So I may be getting in touch with you. Or I've got a little list as well. But if anybody is up for doing next Monday, that slot is currently free. Or if you're not available next Monday, but you'd like to do a Monday, just let me know.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
If you could, this is to both of you. If you could have anybody, absolutely anybody, famous, not famous, alive, dead, anyone, who would you have on?
Jimmy DiResta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, it'd be the big J man. Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So not Dave.
Sorry,
Not,
Dave.
when you say the big man, you mean the big?
I wasn't talking about your immense power, your physical stature. I was talking about Jimmy DiResta.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
Cheers, Chris.
Yeah, we will. There's nothing wrong.
I've not actually emailed him or asked him.
No, but actually, having said that, there's nothing wrong with in time having people that have been on already.
Oh yeah,
coming back and right. Yeah. So what's happened?
Well, there's a couple of people who said they'd like to be on again,
and we'll for the next time we'll have a different set. If you're a first time, you'll get the original questions, and we can devise some new questions for repeat offenders.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the reason why I had some questions is just to give us something to talk about. And the questions, if you're interested, are: why do you make? What has the maker community given you? What do you love to make? Tell us something that the maker community doesn't know about you. Bobby Duke. I've got kind of a wish list that I'm sort of going to work my way through. But as we've said many times before, it's about having makers on from who are all different stages. You could have been making for a month or 10 years.
Or get in touch with Nick Zametti
20 years. Yeah, Nick Zametti. Yeah. It's just the conversations that we're having with people are just so interesting. But what fascinates me is I think everybody we talk to, when you say, why do you make? They're coming up with very similar answers. It's all around a similar theme, and I find that quite fascinating.
Yeah.
It is people,
because we're all wired the same.
I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way, but don't realise how many people there are in a similar situation out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I say this probably every week. The maker community is so amazing, and for me, it's unlike anything that I've come across in my life. With the people that I've associated with. Instacake comes very close because we're very much like-minded, but makers is just something completely on its own. And I don't know, it's just
it is since
a unique kind of
since you
vibe,
and I got together, and we've been involved in the whole maker community and YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and UKISS and Makers Central, Makers International. It's been amazing, and we're very happy to have the friends we've got because of it. And every single podcast guest we've had each one has been epic for its own merits and for its own reasons. I'm really pleased that we've had such a great guest list so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I think we might have sorted out next Monday.
Right. Might have sorted out. Is it big?
AH Bespoke. So it might be AH Bespoke next Monday.
Good on you, mate.
he was top of my list. He was the one I was going to contact.
So yeah, we can. Well, you can just double confirm that. Can't
yeah,
you, with,
yeah. I've just said if you can email.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Well, there you go. So yeah, that's. I didn't want the night off anyway.
Well, you're Dave's coming back if we haven't got.
I know. Yeah.
You'll never get rid of me now. You'll be like, this is episode 94. Bloody hell, we've got Dave again.
What have you been doing today, Dave?
Hanging around outside your living room window, Chris, tripping over the molehills.
Yeah. Ready to hit Molly with a shovel.
I can't hit my little mole.
No, they're epic creatures.
It was just quite magical,
buggers,
actually. I don't know what day was it. Was it Saturday? I was literally stood absolutely.
Oh yeah, it was
still.
Saturday because they were.
There was people singing, and I was stood there really quiet and still, listening to these little noises and waiting just to see this little trickle of soil coming down this pile. I was fascinated. I made some video, but every time I press record, it stopped. Right then. Well, thank you very much, AH Bespoke.
Yes, thank you very much. Look forward to having you next week. So,
let me just have a
me,
look. Steve says he'll do it again, but he wants you to read the chat next time. So I said we could actually get the phone to read it. That would be fun.
Oh yeah,
we could actually do that.
If we suss the technology out, I could read that.
Get the phone to read out the comments. That'll be an adventure.
Yeah. That'd be forking bananas. That.
Again. Wouldn't it? So thank you all very much for being with us again. Steve, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, mate.
We really hope you've had a great day.
Yes, and hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening.
And enjoyed us wearing the T-shirts in honour of your birthday.
Yes. And if you do want to sponsor us, we're going to have to talk pound notes, mate. You know how it goes. So
that's probably about £2 notes.
Yeah. Got bills to pay. You know. So no, all joking aside, thanks for the T-shirt, Steve. It's every time I say.
That's my doorbell.
Oh, right.
I wonder what.
I'm gonna love you and leave you guys.
All right.
Cheers,
thanks for being with us. Thank you.
Bye.
Anyway, we'll just say a proper thank you to Dave for being on the podcast and joining us this week.
Thank you so very much, Dave. Don't forget to check out Dave's segment on my channel once it gets uploaded on the Blind Woodturner. If you have missed it or you just want to go back and listen to it again, that'd be cool. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Si, send us your address as well, please.
Yeah, congratulations, Si, for winning the pen with my first ever homemade resin blank. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all so very much for tuning in again, and we shall catch you next Monday, hopefully with AH Bespoke.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.